Hey guys, it's Josh and I'm back with the next video on the electron configuration lesson that I am showing you on behalf of Academia on Demand, which is the name of my business, and I have to make sure everything is on in behalf of the business. As much as I love educating your minds, the business is the bigger one, bigger name than the Josh Myers. Okay, so in the last video we talked about how we can represent the box and arrow orbital representation of this thing we call the electron configuration with simply the energy level, the sublevel, and the number of electrons in the sublevel. And this is a very logical way of doing this. It's very systematic, and now we are going to take a closer look at this approach using more and more examples. Okay, everyone loves examples. Okay, so now we are going to race this algorithm, and when I say algorithm, I mean it is simply just a memory aid for knowing which energy levels are next in line, meaning like which ones, because as we know the off-ball rule tells us which energy levels that the electrons fill the lower energy levels before they fill the higher energy levels. And so in this case, the diagonal lines, the diagonal up to the left lines, they represent a memory aid for which orbitals are lower energy. If you look at the last video, it talks all about that. So now let's look at more examples. Let's look at more examples of electron configurations. And I'm hoping to make this video under 10 minutes. It'll be a world record for me. Okay, so let's get to work. Let's talk about first the electron configuration of a chlorine ion. And we say ion as we know chlorine's most popular ionization state is to gain an electron, to be Cl negative, because then it will have the same electron configuration as argon, which we will show here. So what is the electron configuration of chlorine, or what we call the chloride ion, because the ide is representative of the ionization, of the charge. So ide, which is representative of the charge. Well, the electron configuration, so we start with 1s, because as we know, the chlorine atom is in at 17, it has atomic number 17, it is in group 7, which means that it has 5 electrons in its outermost p orbital, which is the 3p sublevel. So if we have 1s2 and then 2s2, because we are simply filling the sublevels now until we get to 3p sublevel and then the 3pz orbital. Now we are saying 2p6 because that is the next most energetic sublevel, and then 3s2 and then 3p. Now what is the number? Because as we know, if it were just chlorine, it would be 5 because it is a group 7 element. But with this negative charge, that means it has taken a negative charge from empty space, which means that it has gained an electron. So if it gains a negative charge, it itself will become negative. So it is 3p6. Its p sublevel has been completely filled, and it has the same electron configuration as argon. And in this way, this is very interesting, because what we can do here actually is we can say that the electron configuration of Cl negative is the electron configuration of argon. And this is a simplified way of expressing electron configuration in terms of the noble gas, in terms of which noble gas an element is closest to. And this helps to simplify things when the elements start to get very, very big. And we will show an example on that now. When they start to get very, very big, we do not want to have to write out 1s and 2s and all those orbitals in between. We want to just go straight to the action. So let's see if we can erase this. This is a problem. Let's see if we can do it. Okay. I am a angry bear looking for food, and I am going full steam ahead at my goal of erasing this. That is the analogy I use. Okay. Alright, so now we have an open space, and now let's look at the element silver. And silver is actually in the second horizontal row of transition metals, which means that it lies in the 4D sublevel. Specifically, it has a 4D 9 electrons. It has 9 electrons in its 4D sublevel. So that means that let's first fill up the other sublevels leading up to 4D. And then we will talk about this magical thing where we can use the noble gas it is closest to make things easier. But first, let's do things the hard way, and then we will make them easier for ourselves. I think that is usually what they do in life. I'm not sure why, but it seems to make us good people. So 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and now 4s2, 4p, no, oh no, I just made a mistake. That is really bad mistake. Bad Josh. Josh is being bad. Now 3d10, and then 4p6, and then 5s2, and now finally we are at the 4D sublevel. The 4D sublevel, and now we have to talk about how does this work exactly? How does this idea of the sublevel work for this one? So we know it has 9 electrons, as I said. It has 9 electrons, but we know that the d orbital needs 10, the d sublevel, sorry, I keep mixing those up, but the d sublevel needs 10 electrons to completely fill it. So what actually ends up happening here is that this s electron comes over, and will actually donate one to the 4d9 element to make it 4d10. And then this 5, it becomes 5s1. And this is logical. This makes sense from what we've talked about so far, because now instead of there being a full s orbital and 4 full d orbitals and one that is half full, now there is a full d sublevel, which means that not only are all orbitals full, the sublevel itself is full. And whereas now the s sublevel is now half full, but the d sublevel before was not half full. It was simply, there was one orbital that was half full, and that is why this makes sense. So now this took us quite a long time to write out all on our own, and we are going to look at an easier way of doing this. Actually, no, let's not erase. Let's keep this just as it is, because this is so easy that we could do it all just over here. Okay, so now what we can say is that this is not Cu either, this is Ag, and I have no idea what I'm doing right now. This is very silly. Okay, so Ag, and what you can say is that it is closest to the noble gas krypton. Krypton has the electron configuration of 1s2 all the way here until 4p6. So what we can say is that it has the electron configuration of I am reading there. It is krypton, the electron configuration of krypton, and then add 5s1 4d10. And now that is exactly how you use noble gases in order to make drawing these things easier. And I am just over 10 minutes now, so I might as well just do one more example before we wrap things up. Okay. Alright, so let's make a little bit of room for ourselves, and this time we're going to use the noble gas configuration method. I'm going to get a little bit of practice with that. Okay. So let's do the electron configuration of barium. Okay. So if you have any good chemistry jokes involving barium, insert them now. Okay, so barium, the first thing we want to do is look at the noble gas that is closest in line to barium, which is atomic number 56. Well, if we look, xenon is atomic number 54, and it is a noble gas. Okay, so that is not too bad. We have solved that part of the puzzle. So now after we have the electron configuration of the noble gas, because what this represents is everything from 1s2 all the way to 5p6 that is represented in this small statement right here, 1s2 to 5p6. Now simply we have to fill in the last remaining bit. What makes barium special? And what makes barium special here is that now it has a complete 6s sublevel, so 6s2. And that is the electron configuration of barium. And that was very, very easy to do. And so now that we understand a little bit about drawing these structures, drawing the electron configurations using numbers rather than boxes, the next thing we are going to be talking about in the next video, so don't get your hopes up, this video is ending, as I'm sure you can see. The next thing we're going to be talking about is drawing molecular structures rather than atomic structures, as we've been doing. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys.